JJ, just to reiterate what I asked you at halftime, but how did you feel like Austin looked physically? How was he moving, and how, as you try to figure out these lineups now, how did some of that experimentation go tonight as you saw him with different groups?
Yeah, I thought he moved great and looked like Austin. He had 3 or 4 really good looks in the first half that didn't go down, but did a nice job of attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line. It says he had 1 assist. Or does it say 1 assist? Yeah. I didn't realize throwing the ball off the backboard to a teammate is not considered assist anymore, but I think that is emblematic of he just wants to play, and he wants to be a good teammate, and certainly give LeBron a highlight and give the fans a highlight. But he played great. In terms of just the lineups, just wanted to try to keep everybody's rotation essentially the same, while eating away at 20 minutes essentially. And then, with the way the game was going, felt just like let's get his minutes, make sure he gets his 20 minutes. So that's why we started him. That was the plan before the game, but, felt like that was the right thing to do in that situation.
With him back, you have, I think, these 4 games at home now before the All-Star break. Do you, and just after being on the road forever, do you look forward to that stretch to sort of see where you can get before the All-Star break?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been a great home team this year, and we've got an opportunity over the next few weeks, even post All-Star break, to be at home and play in front of our fans. And after, I think a really tough stretch, and every team has had this because of the cup and just the disruption in the schedule because of that. It's you're front loaded, you're back loaded, and this has been a lot of travel and a lot of back and forth. We had 2 1-game back-to-backs right before this long trip, where one of those each time was on the road. So we've weathered it, and we've got to keep our foot on the gas going into All-Star break.
Just JJ, bigger picture, you guys did go 5-3 on this trip, going back to the Denver game. Just what can that do for you guys moving forward, and overall group also getting healthier, of course?
Yeah, I mean, you want to build momentum, and this was about the time last year when we started building momentum. And I think getting healthy and having our guys available in this last stretch will be huge for us.
Understanding it wasn't the plan going into tonight, but with Austin starting the second half, does that signal that the group that there will be the starting lineup you hope to have when Austin's no longer on a minutes restriction?
No signal there. I mean, the biggest thing was Jake against Washington played with that last group in a blowout game. So it was prioritizing getting Austin his minutes, and then having Jake available to play potentially the last 6 to 8 minutes.
JJ, just what was it like kind of watching Austin navigate sort of the realities of that calf injury and being cleared but not being comfortable, and I guess just what were your conversations like with him over the last week or so?
Well, I think after probably, I don't know if it was after Cleveland or maybe it was Washington, but after one of those games, it was just like, I'm not going to ask him because everybody's going to ask him. So let's talk about other stuff. I've said this a number of times, but all these guys have a lot on their minds because of their contract situations, the trade deadline. Certainly, Austin, is in line for a pretty significant raise, and I think having that confidence in your body is huge.
He I think had 2 plays worth pretty real bumps at the basket. I think he got MPJ on one and was it Devin on the other one. Just what do you kind of make of his strength right now, and is that, do you think, is something particularly when he gets downhill a real weapon for him?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he got stronger over the summer. We saw the benefits of that throughout the early part of the season, and I know that our performance staff has even has worked to strengthen him even more over the last 6 weeks, essentially. And he's put in the work, and he's done his conditioning, and he's done his on-court work, and I thought he put himself in a good position to have a good night.
JJ, you're 11 games above 500. If somebody with all the injuries, LeBron being out, Luka going to Slovenia for a couple of games, Austin being out so long, if somebody asked you at this juncture, if you thought you would be 11 games above.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of look at your team when the season starts, and you it's not a guess, but it's a calculated sort of opinion of what's the best version of this team. How can we get the most out of this group? And you're really not factoring in guys not being available because of injury, or great moments in their life that they need to be with their family. I look at it like this: the season, and this is my 17th year in it. This season is always going to have unpredictability, and the season's always going to have peaks and valleys. And so I always, even as a player, looked at it through that lens of just the holistic big picture. And we've I think found some good things that have been good for us on both ends, and Austin's only going to add to that.
I think it's just how to be a pro. Spoke about it a million times. Just the way he conducts himself on and off the court. The time he puts in. The gym. And second to none. There's a reason he's played for 23 years, and if he wants to, he can play for I would say a couple more. But just the professionalism, the way to carry yourself every day.
It was a hold up though. What was it like finally getting up there to play? How did you feel?
Felt good. I've been bored for a little over a month now. And sitting on the bench sucks. I think all I did for the month and a half was yell at the refs. It's no fun. It's better to yell at them on the court. But no, it's good to get back out there, run around, feel the energy, and play the game I love.
Was it more mental or physical? Are you making sure you can come back and play? Or was it both of those?
Both. I wanted to make sure I was, 100% good. Really wanted to play the other night against the Knicks. Love playing there. Wish I, could have been able to get out there and, help the team, but just didn't feel right. And woke up this morning, felt really good, and gave it the go, right before the game, and had fun.
Austin, I know you put on a little muscle and weight in the offseason. JJ said that you were doing a little bit more lifting this last month and change. Did you feel like you added a little bit more strength you can kind of sustain for the rest of the season?
Jesus, that's all I did for the month was lift. I just love lifting. It's just... I felt like I was able to, get in, work on some things, and I think, it's something that, I had the opportunity to do because of the injury. You never want to be hurt, but you always got to look at the positives and find ways to, get better as you're, still, working to get back.
You kind of view the all parts are connected type of game of basketball?
Oh, that ain't your hand. Okay, never mind. All right, what'd you say?
I know, like, the way you play the game is not individual effort. It's all the parts fit together. But the time you've been out and seeing the team go through some of its ups and downs, did you, identify ways that you as an individual could fit into the group and, perhaps get you guys back to the level you showed earlier?
I think it's just giving us another, body, that can make plays, make the right play. When you have Luka and LeBron, the attention of everybody's defense is going to be on them, the majority of the time, and you get to play advantage basketball, and it just gives us another, opportunity with the player to, play that advantage basketball. But I thought we, played really good in spurts and not so good in others, but just the ups and downs of the years. You're not gonna play perfect every game. There's learning curves throughout the year, so just happy to be back.
LeBron is saying that this team is getting healthy. Besides ice therapy that you all do after the game, what are the main tips to take care of your bodies?
Sleep. That's exactly what I'm about to do on this plane. Plane ride, 6 hours of good sleep. I will not be doing anything else but sleeping. So that's the main thing, is to get some rest.
Last question.
What do you feel like you've been able to kind of learn the most from the coaching staff in your time out?
I mean, I'm sure they're sick of me talking to them. In the month that I was out, I had nothing else better to do than to annoy them. So I'm sure they're not happy, not just happy that I'm playing. They're probably happy that I'm not annoying them still. So I think the connectivity that they have as a staff, that we have as a group, is probably the main thing. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. Everybody wants the same goal. So when you got a team like that and a staff like that, it's very nice.
First of all, what did you think of Austin, having him back on the court?
I mean, for as long as he's been out, obviously, number one thing is rhythm, and then, your fatigue, how fast you get fatigued. So it's just a boost, for all of us, especially at the end of a road trip, to get a guy like that back. Obviously, his rhythm is a little off, but shit, he still made an impact, and just happy to have him back.
Some similarities to the game in Washington. You guys are just getting up and down and kind of scoring with ease. A lot of sprinting from you, certainly getting up and down in transition. What is the importance of that, and just kind of keep that foot on the pedal even if the other team isn't playing well? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all NBA teams, and we have to figure out a way how we can execute. And we wanted to finish the trip off on the right way. It was an 8-game road trip, went 5-3. Had some games that we felt like we could have won, we could have had a better record, but at the end of the day, you play the game that's in front of you, and we did that close to 48 minutes. You're obviously focused in game mode, but at the end, when Bronny comes in, you hear the chants and everything, do you allow yourself kind of to just switch into dad mode for a little bit and enjoy it? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's had my wife sitting courtside, and us being able to have that moment, for our son, it was pretty cool. It's always been love and respect to the Brooklyn fans every time I come here, and for them to show that to my son, and his development and the way he continues to develop his game. I thought it's a pride moment we would never forget, for sure, for me and my wife. It was pretty cool.
LeBron, in 20 years, when people are going to talk about LeBron James, the man, and LeBron James, the athlete, what do you want this name and this legacy to stand for?
My legacy is my kids. That's the most important. My kids, my community, my family. That's all that matters to me. The basketball, things of that nature, obviously, has given me an unbelievable platform to be able to do the things that I love to do, and give me some opportunity to, inspire the youth and things over the last, 23 years, 2 decades plus. But, for me personally, my legacy is going to go through my kids, go through my community, and the things that I do to continue to inspire. So. It will be talked through other folks, and hopefully in a good way.
JJ told us that he thought around this time last year is when that team found its stride and was able to kind of get to another level for the remainder of the season. Have you seen any signs from this year's group that perhaps there's a sustainable success around the corner, and maybe some of those building blocks they were shown on this road trip?
Just want to get healthy. We want to get healthy, and tonight was pretty much the first time we had everybody in the lineup, and everybody healthy. Obviously, we're still missing our rook. Our rook is still coming back, but we're getting close to healthy, and we'll see what happens.
LeBron, at 41, you just played all 8 games on an 8-game road trip. You talked Cleveland about being in the moment, and it felt like on this trip there were a handful of kind of moments you'll carry with you. What were some of the things that stood out just about these past 8 games, and whether it be going back home or the Garden or any of that stuff that you think you'll carry with you?
I'll look back on it, when I'm done playing, and my last, if it's one of the second to last or third to last games in Cleveland, I remember that moment just being out. Obviously, Bronny getting that moment too in Cleveland. Obviously, the moment tonight, being in the Garden is always special. There's no way to shy away from that. It's been a great road trip. It's been cold as hell. I know that. I remember that more than anything. We played some good basketball, and then for me to be able, like I said, enjoy these moments, for him to be able to get into a lot of these games and play the way he's been playing, it's pretty it's pretty cool for me.
Brian, you had to navigate so many trade deadlines with this team being on this road trip, the whole roster. Like, how do you feel like the group came together over the course of these 2 weeks? Not even thinking about that.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we're all professionals. We're all professionals. We got a job to do no matter what's going on, no matter what the outside noise is talking about. We come together, we prepare, for each and every game, and we go out and try to help each other, and that's what we've been doing.
Jake, is starting in tonight's game some similarities maybe to the Washington game where you guys just got going early and built a big lead? How were you able to sustain that, and what kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought after we got that initial lead, we kind of just stay with it. We never, let off the gas pedal, which is sometimes, it's hard to play with a lead sometimes. You kind of get, complacent or lazy a little bit. And I think we just did a good job at staying together and just keeping our foot on the gas throughout the whole game.
What did you think of having Austin back, and how do you think that getting everybody close to healthy, going into these several games at home before the All-Star break can do for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to finally, see him back on the court. Obviously a big-time player for us. So just really happy that, he's back out there on the court, after all the rehab he was, having to do. And, again, just a big impact player for us. So, now that we're getting back healthy, I think we're really going to get back into the roll of things.
Jake, you guys went 5-3 on this Grammy trip. Just what can this trip do for the group moving forward, especially as you mentioned, like you guys getting healthier, getting Austin back? I think this is the first time in a while you've had pretty much the full rotation.
Yep. Very long trip, the longest, road trip that I've been on personally. I know it's something that they do every year, but just big time, honestly, for us to get this win to end the road trip. Good momentum going into, these next 2 games with, Philly and Warriors. So just good for us to be able to, get back on this flight. It's a long flight, and if we would have lost, it would not have been as fun. So, the fact that we won this game just gives us momentum, and, again, Austin back in the lineup just gives us that full rotation pretty much of everyone being healthy and everyone, getting minutes and stuff like that and being able to impact the game. So just really excited to see what this group can have, post All-Star and leading up to it.
To have Austin, Luka, and LeBron back playing together again, how does that change the team, the dynamics of it?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to be, I think, a harder team to guard even than we usually are. Obviously, Austin brings a lot of scoring to the table, and there's some games where that's kind of been the struggle, where it's either been shooting or whatever it is. To be honest, I think our defense has been pretty good, these last couple of games with the zone that we've been running. So again, now adding Austin back to the team and just another player where defenses have to draw a lot of attention to him, it's going to be really good for us.
Jake, you mentioned it was the longest trip that you've been on. Outside of basketball part of it, what were some highlights for you? What was the best part of this trip now that you're finally going home?
Yeah, I mean, my wife came out here to New York. We watched a Broadway show, my first Broadway show for the first time, so that was pretty cool. But I'm very excited to get home. I dislike the cold weather in every city.